I see it all around, man. I may do an after party, and this is how I'll be able to write these records, because it's not just the positive energy that speaks to me, it's the negative too, it's the evils too.
In November 2024, Kendrick Lamar released his 6th studio album, GNX. Given the circumstances, it didn't just feel like new music, it felt like a shift had occurred. Months later, you'll be hard-pressed to find a more successful hip-hop album run than GNX. Broken records, the most watched Super Bowl performance in history, sold-out stadium tour. This hasn't just been an album run, we've been witnessing the genesis of a brand new era of hip-hop. However, it still seems everyone missed the concept of this album. The fans missed it, the critics missed it, the YouTubers missed it, Cole Kushner missed it. I'm Real, and I'm here to tell you, not only does GNX have a concept, but the story Kendrick's telling isn't even contained to the album itself. You see, GNX is just the latest chapter in a narrative Kendrick has been spinning for at least 20 years. A story that's unfolded not just in the music, but in the videos, performances, and even interviews. Even the diss records from the recent battle with Drake play into the narrative. Kendrick hasn't just been making music, he's been building an entire world right under our noses. Welcome to unRapped, where we peel back the layers of hip-hop's greatest masterpieces. And in this series, we're diving deep into GNX. This is a multi-part series, and there's a lot to go through, so let's start by unwrapping what, in my opinion, is the most important track on the entire project, Whack Down Murals.
They love when the beef is on, knowing that plumbing time the only time they hill grown. You better hold your breath, I give you a walk through death, and recommend the gun being your chaperone. I know young niggas that look up to Al Capone, and they look 17, but I swear that they mind is grown. Shit, I'm so grown, and the reason why I write this way, talking big, be ghost writing my songs. You can play the boss, but if you get shot from being no top, then home.
Much of the debate of this album has been if it's a mixtape or if it's a proper studio album. Well, the first thing I can confirm is that GNX is meant to be a tape, but not quite a mixtape. GNX is supposed to play like a cassette tape. And if that sounds crazy, let me introduce you to the rest of Kendrick Lamar's catalog. It has been widely theorized that each of Kendrick's mainstream releases take on the form of different storytelling devices. For example, Section 80, which was a book, the cover and chapter blank song titles are the giveaway. Good Kid, Mad City, which is a short film. It even says so in the title. To Pimp a Butterfly, which is a poem. He literally reads a poem throughout the entire album. Untitled, Unmastered. While this is technically a compilation, not an album, I believe this project to be a dream or a prophecy. The all-black artwork and track titles that resemble unnamed tracks from an audio recorder are the giveaways here. It's almost as if each track were audio logs of dreams. Like he wakes up in the middle of the night, records what happened in the dream, and then goes back to sleep. Next, we have Damn, which is a stage play. The main tell for this one is that the album titles are written like the headers of a screenplay. Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. In similar fashion to Damn, it's half stage play and half therapy session, depending on which, quote, CD of the double disc you're on. So that leaves us with GNX, which, as mentioned, is a cassette tape. Let's first look at a real life tape. In fact, I have the actual GNX cassette right here. So here we have the case, the liner notes, and the cassette tape itself, which consists of two sides of music, labeled A and B. What we're most worried about though for this breakdown is the liner notes. These are the slips of paper that include things like the track list, extra art, and notes from the artist. And sometimes, if the album has a concept, They also share works that inspired it, or even background story on the album's narrative. They're basically the instructions on how to listen to the album. We can use what we learned on Whacked Out Murals to explore the deeper layers of the album.
It's so street like concrete. The best describe it is gutter, but see I'm what's underneath. A young gun, but not like your young Chris and Neef. I'm from the land of organized crime, disorderly peace. Cause nowadays niggas hustle and they order their peace and worship their gun the same as their religious beliefs. The Compton sheriffs can't forget.
So as we get into the meat of the album, I would describe it as having 3 layers: the real world context, the delivery, and the underlying narrative. The real world context is the easiest layer to break down. That's going to be references to the beef, the Super Bowl announcement, and his feelings on the rap game, etc. The surface level stuff. The second layer we're going to call delivery. So that's his flow, his cadence, and any interpolations he may perform. An interpolation is when an artist mimics another artist's flow or style. Most hip hop fans know a rapper's flow is almost like their signature or fingerprint. There have been entire beefs started over rappers allegedly stealing each other's flows. But on the flip side, a rapper using another rapper's flow is often used as a way to pay homage to that rapper. In fact, that's what Kendrick is doing on this album, is he's rapping in other rappers' flows throughout the entire thing. He'll literally flip from a Notorious B.I.G. flow to an Eminem flow on the drop of a dime. It's basically if the video for The Heart Part 5 were in lyrical form. And if that sounds crazy, that's not even close to the first time that he's done this. In fact, we just saw it during the beef. In the bars that he has for J. Cole, Kendrick actually raps them in J. Cole's flow from First Person Shooter. And that's how you know who he's talking to.
I hate when a rapper talk about guns, then somebody die, they turn into nuns, then I hop online like pray for my city, he faking for likes and digital hugs.
Rhyming with me is the biggest mistake. The Spider-Man meme is me looking at Drake. It's like we recruited your homies to be demon deacons. We got them attending your fate.
So as you listen to the album, try to keep an ear out for who he could be channeling at any given time. Something else that I want to emphasize, his homages are not limited to just the flow when he's channeling these rappers. He's mimicking everything from their lingo to even their song structure. The references range from entire songs made in the image of certain rappers to just a few lines, if not less. So with that said, we now have our deepest layer, the underlying narrative. Even though Kendrick has made a career on these flow switches, the flows on this album are actually not random. In fact, they play directly into the narrative of the album itself. So alright, one final spoiler warning. If you have your own interpretations of Kendrick Lamar's music and you don't want those tainted, now is your chance to get out. So final warning, 3, 2, 1. Kendrick Lamar is the devil. And I know that sounds familiar because he blatantly tells us this on the track Reincarnated from this same album. But what people don't realize is Reincarnated and even the GNX album itself are just the latest chapters in a way longer story. He's not just the devil in Reincarnated. Kendrick Lamar is the devil in everything. Music, videos, performances, commercials, literally every piece of media that Kendrick's name is attached to is another piece to the narrative. But that's not even half the story. To begin to understand why Kendrick would be rapping from the devil's perspective, our investigation needs to begin with real-life philosophy.
Sold for the industry counter looking for pinners. This business got too many villains. Superman is back, the cape ain't red, it's black. That's a trench coat. And on that note, for your information, if we was dead, this is reincarnation. Bow your heads.
I know, you're probably thinking that sounds crazy. Why would someone like Kendrick Lamar, who seems so spiritual, rap as the devil, the embodiment of evil? Well, it's a bit more complicated than that. In fact, Kendrick's story mixes many different ideas, some including Christianity, philosophy, astrology, and Black Hebrew Israelite teachings, amongst likely many others. So you see, we first need to look at real-life philosophy, specifically that of Eckhart Tolle and Sigmund Freud. Eckhart Tolle is a renowned spiritual teacher and significant figure in the world of New Age spirituality. Tolle's bestsellers, The Power of Now and A New Earth, focus on the concept of the ego. That's our sense of self shaped by our thoughts, past traumas, and the desire to maintain an image. As a matter of fact, Tolle was a major figure on Kendrick's last album, Mr. Morale. Not only were his teachings reflected in the album, but he also lent his voice to several tracks.
If you derive your sense of identity from being a victim.
Perhaps, though, even more prevalent in the narrative are the teachings of Sigmund Freud. You see, Freud had the idea that the human psyche was made up of three parts: the id, the ego, and the superego. The id possessing your more devilish tendencies, the superego holding your more moral and godly thoughts, and the ego, that's the part of you that forms relationships, grieves, things like that. So while not exactly the same as Eckhart Tolle's ego, the two serve a very similar purpose. However, in Kendrick's story, it's a little different. So understand that the ego, aka Kendrick the man, always has final say. In fact, this idea is usually presented as the angel and the devil on the shoulder.
My shoulder angel.
Don't listen to that guy. He's trying to lead you down the path of righteousness. I'm going to lead you down the path that rocks.
In terms of Kendrick's story, it's a little different. In this story, the devil and Kendrick Lamar are one and the same, while God is an outside entity. Both the devil and God have influence on Kendrick the man, but at the end of the day, it's the man at the wheel. Usually. For now, understand these philosophical ideas are the framework for Kendrick's world. Now, I know that may be a little confusing. How can Kendrick be the devil when he raps so positively about God? The devil is evil, right? Well, from what I can tell, Kendrick's interpretation of the devil not only pulls from the Bible, but other famous depictions of the devil in pop culture history. The most prevalent being that of the 1667 epic poem, Paradise Lost.
Things we imagine actually happen. In real life situations was artificial. They say we only live and die. Imagine if we already dead, waiting to live, living in hell, trying to cross over to heaven. We confusing ourselves. Planet Earth's like Ocean 11. We plotting for the getaway. When my childhood friends get sent away to prison on their first offense, it's fucked up. But listen, we study God but don't know him. Criticize people that work on Sunday.
Paradise Lost tells the story of Lucifer and the events surrounding his banishment from heaven. But you see, despite using figures from the Bible, Paradise Lost is not considered canon to the Bible itself. Instead, it expands on its ideas. A few lines in the Bible become full storylines in Paradise Lost. The twist with Paradise Lost, though, is that the story is told from the devil's perspective. In fact, Paradise Lost is credited as one of the first works ever to humanize the devil. A lot of the imagery that we use for the devil in pop culture today originated from this poem. Prior to this and other works like Dante's Inferno, the devil was seen merely as a symbol of evil without even a physical form. Paradise Lost, though, made the devil a more complex character by giving him a history, emotions, ambitions, and Kendrick Lamar is doing the same in his story. Just as he told you in Reincarnated, he rewrote the devil's story just to take our power back. So with that said, let's take a deeper look into the devil's story. What could Kendrick possibly have in common with the devil? So just like in the Bible, in Paradise Lost, Lucifer, aka Morning Star, was originally an angel of God. And not just any angel, he's often referenced as one of, if not the highest ranking angel in God's ranks. However, he was very good at his job, and after a while, he started feeling himself, started to think of himself as being just as important, if not more important than God. In fact, it's stated that Lucifer thought he could perform God's duties better than God himself. You see though, that pride is known as the principal sin. It's the biggest sin. It's the sin that leads to all other sin. So God banishes the devil from heaven down to earth until he learns to keep that pride in check. But the devil couldn't just go in peace. In fact, on his way out, he recruits 1/3 of all the angels in heaven, and they literally go to war. This is a war, though, that the devil, of course, loses handily. Then, as punishment for their rebellion, God orders Lucifer and his fallen angels, now known as demons, to be depowered, excommunicated, stripped of their names, their monuments destroyed, and that they'll serve out their sentence on earth for the rest of its existence. This banishment leaves the devil deeply scorned. He thought he was God's right-hand man, and he looks up and he's in jail. And as revenge, the now known Satan, along with his demons, take it upon themselves to corrupt God's newest creation, man. A corruption which we now know is sin. And the devil's preferred way to spread that sin is through deception. So this is the part of the story that everybody's familiar with, where the devil turns into the serpent, tricks Eve into biting the apple, so on and so forth. But for the sake of Kendrick's narrative, it's important to remember that since this story is partly from the devil's perspective, please understand that he's known as an unreliable narrator, meaning that everything he says isn't necessarily how it happened. So it's important to understand that concept. The devil is not inherently evil. His actions are driven by revenge, pride, and envy. The devil wants nothing more than the adoration and glory that he sees God get. So the fact that he's down on earth and can no longer even communicate with God pisses him off even more.
Get God on the phone!
In Kendrick's universe, though, in addition to being sent down to earth, Lucifer was also sentenced to be perpetually reincarnated in the body of the top black musical artist of a given time, where he now finds himself occupying the body of Kendrick Lamar. But understand, he doesn't just control Kendrick's body. Remember, Kendrick is still his own man with his own experiences and his own influences. Unless he specifically gives the devil the wheel, Kendrick the man is always the one driving. And Kendrick the man can decide if he's going to do the right thing and go with his more godly morals, or if he's going to let the devil take over. Usually, the devil is described as being in the back seat, the third option. He's only called upon when needed.
See, we go body for body, I hand you a body, I'm probably a better masseuse. I really don't bother nobody, but they running by me if I gotta clear out the rest.
So what you have here is the narrative now being reflected in the music itself. This is an old trope in hip hop. Artists often call their deep, thoughtful raps godly. In contrast, they label their commercial, boastful, violent raps as devilish. As a matter of fact, that's not even specific to Kendrick Lamar. Everyone from Eminem to DMX to J. Cole has used this metaphor to describe the record business. Using Cole as an example, His entire second album, Born Sinner, is based on this concept. It's the struggle a lot of mainstream rappers have to go through. Balancing the raps that they want to make with the raps that make money. But as prevalent as this is in hip hop, that concept didn't start with hip hop. To fully understand Kendrick Lamar's music, we must take one final detour and look at blues legend Robert Johnson, aka the man who sold his soul.
What? Clone humans, I'm so dope, they want me as too. What are you doing? Respect you more if you called it a truce. But we burn white flags, so it's really no use. They tell me he hot, I'm looking like who? Probably in heaven, it's the only time you could show me some proof. Until then, keep stepping while I act the animal in the booth. You're looking at the one-man city zoo. Pity the fool who denying the truth. I'm the word like Bible study, you heard class over my time.
You see, hip-hop isn't the first genre to wear the label of devil music. Before hip-hop, it was rock and roll. Before rock and roll, it was jazz. And before jazz, it was the blues. And this is where we find Robert Johnson. Johnson became the man of legend not just for his skill on guitar, but because of how fast he achieved that skill. The legend goes, in 1931, Johnson was a struggling and notoriously bad musician. One night, Johnson just disappeared. He went missing for over a year, and when he returned, he was playing on guitar in a way that no one had ever heard. His rise was so fast, people said Johnson must have, quote, gone down to the crossroads and had his guitar tuned by the devil himself to be able to play that good. It didn't help the rumors that Johnson was also playing the blues, known at the time as the devil's music. You see, if you were out at the juke joint all Saturday night, chances are you weren't getting up for church on Sunday morning. And more importantly, you weren't getting up to pay tithes on Sunday morning.
Donation, it's a donation. I thought it was the trash. Don't be hitting on me. Put some money in, stupid ass.
So it's not much of a surprise that Baptist pastors started referring to the blues as devil music to discourage the partying. So even from the very beginning, devil music has always been associated with the more rebellious, fast-paced party music. The rumors surrounding Johnson grew so large that he started to work them into his lyrics.
Now that I'm standing at the crossroad, baby, I believe I'm sinking down.
And just so everyone understands, despite the rumors, Johnson's disappearance was most likely spent locked in with his mentor, Delta blues guitarist Ike Zimmerman. Unfortunately, the myth grew even more when Johnson suffered an untimely death at the young age of only 27. And if that age triggers anyone, well, it should. That would make Robert Johnson the founding member of the 27 Club. That's a list of notable musicians who have passed away at that age. In fact, Kendrick featured many of the members on his 2011 mixtape, OD, aka Overly Dedicated. And just like Robert Johnson, Kendrick is playing off the allegory of selling one's soul to the devil to excel in music. In fact, that's what finally brings us to the lyrics of Whacked Out Murals.
Feelings, no remorse, sucker MCs, throw fits, cause I carry the torch without Olympics. Kill all my friendships, all of them my enemies. Go against the God MC, eternal penalty, crucifixion. So nice, wish you had 3 eardrums to listen. Down right, I be the Don Corleone in rap songs, whether on the East Coast or back home. We clap chrome like magnetic monkey wrenches. Used to high fences, now we hop on top of back.
Siento aquí tu presencia. La noche de anoche y nos ponemos a llorar.
Whacked Out Murals opens with a section sung in Spanish by Mexican mariachi singer Dara Barrera. What she sings translates to, I feel your presence here, the night of last night, and we start to cry. And then enters Kendrick.
Yesterday somebody whacked out my mural. That energy'll make you niggas move to Europe. But it's regular for me, yeah, that's for sure. The love and hate is definite without a cure.
So throughout the story of this album, Kendrick is rapping in at least 3 narratives at once. On the surface, we have Kendrick's commentary on the beef, the rap game, his career, etc. But underneath that, and what we see in these lines, is the devil trying to sway Kendrick by coming to him as a friend first.
Here's the real truth.
And that brings us to the third narrative. The devil recollecting his own story to Kendrick. Basically, he's telling him, yeah, they whacked out my murals too. Let me show you how I handled it. Remember, the devil is directly invested in Kendrick's success. The way he sees it, the better music Kendrick makes, the closer it gets them both to God. So he's not telling him anything with ill will, even though it might not always be the best choice.
But it's regular for me, yeah, that's for sure. The love and hate is definite without a cure.
Something to note right here is that he doesn't say definitely. He says the love and hate is definite without a cure. As in, you can't have one without the other. He uses that trick a lot in his music, and it's another way he's been able to hide the story for so long. The devil has literally been hiding behind bars.
All this talk is bitch made, that's on my lord. I kill them all before I let them kill my joy.
Here, the devil's ready for action, and he's tired of just talk. That's another important concept to remember for this album. The devil is more active and impulsive, while God is perceived to be more passive and patient. Kendrick goes on to say that before he lets them ruin the rap game, he'll destroy it all first.
I done been through it all, what you endure. It used to be fuck that nigga, but now it's plural.
So here's the devil continuing his appeal to Kendrick, telling him that he's been through all of this before. If we take the opening line at face value, this is taking place the day after Kendrick's mural was defaced in LA. So he's likely feeling a type of way about it. Then the devil shows up and says, yeah, I know how that is. The line can also be read in multiple ways. He's clearly discussing the reaction to his Super Bowl announcement. However, within the narrative, the devil reveals that his issue used to only be with God. Now he has problems with anyone who might influence Kendrick. We'll talk more about who that is later, but for now, remember that Kendrick the man is influenced not only by the devil, not only by God, but probably even more so by his surroundings. So while the devil is trying to steer Kendrick to music superstardom, he still has to guide him through this minefield of Compton, California, where it's one wrong turn and it's game over.
Fuck everybody that's on my body. My blick first, then God got me. I watch them pander with them backhanded compliments. Put their head on the Cuban link as a monument.
Alright, so this line is dope. As we mentioned earlier, a lot of Kendrick's imagery derives from the poem Paradise Lost. However, what I didn't mention is that Paradise Lost actually has a sequel called Paradise Regained. While Paradise Lost tells the story of the devil and him getting expelled from heaven, the sequel, though, is essentially a conversation between the devil and Jesus. Basically, the devil trying to figure out what the big deal is about this guy. What makes him so worthy for that spot that he's been kicked out of? However, it's one specific part of that conversation where Jesus pays the devil a nasty backhanded compliment, basically telling him, bro, you almost sound smart. So when Kendrick says, put they head on a Cuban link as a monument, well,
I pay homage and I'll always mind my business. I never lost who I am for a rap image. There's motivation if you wonder how I did it.
So I'll tell you now, I do not know what he's saying in the muted out part. However, I don't think we need it to understand the narrative. What Kendrick is saying here is that he's always honored those that have come before him. From the devil's perspective, though, that's in reference to his past lives. He's also never forgotten his goals despite having to balance an image. And we have that last line, which can serve as another confirmation that this is the devil motivating Kendrick. So with that in mind, the hook should make a lot more sense.
Yeah, nigga, going up your rank. Know you a god even when they say you ain't.
By now, you should be able to see what he's doing. Know you a god even when they say you ain't can apply to both Kendrick as well as the devil telling his own story. They parallel.
Yeah, nigga, keep your feelings out the way. Never let no one put smut up on your name.
So this is actually a slick reference by Kendrick to a leaked track called Pure.
I ain't never had smut on my name. Shit. Born the same year, but we can't say the same.
Remember, the devil comes to you as a friend first. So the devil is again trying to appeal to Kendrick by making references to his past.
Yeah, nigga, keep your head down and work like I do. But understand, everybody ain't go like you.
This low-key is another slick reference. He says keep your head down, as in away from God. So keep your head down and work like the devil. Remember, the devil thinks his methods are what's best for Kendrick. In fact, he blatantly thinks God's methods are going to get him killed in that hood.
Yeah, nigga, if they say it's love, you been lied to. A couple rules of engagements, I'ma guide you.
He goes on to say, if they say it's love, you've been lied to. In fact, that brings us to the first of our Kendrick Lamar motifs. As we go through the album, I'm going to add to this list, so just remember to keep track of this. Love equals God, and hate equals the devil.
A beast with a beat break. You probably think I'm dope like it's the realest shit I wrote, but to me it's a throwaway. I stare at the four walls and rap like I'm mad at God. Nice enough to throw a spear at Nas. Like Jet J. Matter of fact, take that back. See, I don't fuck with real legends and rap like you do. I'm crucial, concealed by real crabs and zoo wolves, and they shoot like photography students when beef get to brewing. Is it real, son?
Que reflejan tu mirada, la noche tú y yo.
What reflects in your gaze, the night, you and I. Just another confirmation that the devil and Kendrick Lamar are one and the same. Kendrick is looking in the mirror. On one side, Kendrick Duckworth. On the other, the fallen angel.
Riding in my GNX with Anita Baker and the tape deck. It's gonna be a sweet love.
Alright, so now we're officially in the devil's flashback, and he starts it with a crazy reference. First, he mentions a tape deck. In real life, the Buick Grand National Experimental, or GNX, only offered a tape deck, no other options. This is an allusion to the album itself being a tape. However, the even more interesting reference is when he mentions Anita Baker and her song Sweet Love. In fact, let's look at Sweet Love. Why did he mention that song in particular? Well, the song is actually one big double entendre made to sound like she's singing about a lover. But it can also be heard as Anita professing her love to God. And then, if you look at the album title, Rapture. In fact, Anita Baker's Rapture is one of the greatest concept albums ever made. No, seriously, go back and listen to it. The album tells an entire love story from beginning to end, buried under Bible references, just like what Kendrick is doing on GNX.
Fuck apologies, I wanna see y'all geeked up.
So here, Kendrick / the devil is saying that he'll never apologize. He wants to see everybody turn. That's as in dancing and with chaos. Remember, this is still the devil, and he wants Kendrick to make more music in his vein. He wants more club music, more stunting, more disses. As a matter of fact, let's take a quick second and think about what a diss record would mean for the devil. A diss record is a music track spewing nothing but hate and vitriol and lies. A diss record for the devil would be the literal definition of euphoria.
Don't acknowledge me, then maybe we can say it's fair.
This next line is a reference to how the devil will even settle for a tie. He just needs God to acknowledge that they're of equal power, or even to just be acknowledged at all.
Take it to the internet and I'ma take it there.
Here, I think, is Kendrick actually encouraging his fans to take their theories and analysis to the internet. Sort of like what we're doing here.
My shit, won't you hop on your own dick like Marilyn Manson? I'm dancing with two brains, so if I got shot in the head, I won't die, I just lose more game. Propane walking, you can sell my words at the auction for the right price and be rich your whole life. Straight up, I wanna see the world by 35, but for right now, I'm Compton bound. Hit Rosecrans with a pocket full of dividends. Big trucks beat through the light when I was civilians. Pimp cut, bitch on my...
It's my uncle Lemaine, he said that he would kill me if I didn't make it. Now I'm possessed by a spirit and they can't take it. Used to bump the Carter 3, I held my rolly chain proud. Irony, I think my hard work let Lil Wayne down.
Okay, let's really lock in on this part. These lines are extremely important to tying what Kendrick is doing with his delivery on this album to the narrative of the album. If you recall, we began this video with a Tupac quote.
Because it's spirits. We ain't even really rapping. We just letting our dead homies tell stories for us. You know what I'm saying?
You may also remember this clip being included on the track Mortal Man from Kendrick's 2015 album To Pimp a Butterfly. Well, that's essentially what's happening on GNX. But it's a bit more complicated than that. So, a few things about these spirits. The spirits in Kendrick Lamar's story appear to be sentient, meaning they have a mind of their own and they know that they're spirits. They also represent influences on Kendrick's psyche, both positive and negative. So spirits can come from anything, from music, movies, real life trauma, even the city of Compton and the United States itself. Basically, anything that's left an impact on Kendrick's life, or lives, depending on which way you read it. The next thing to note is that unlike the Tupac quote, the spirits are not necessarily unalive. They can be, and often are, other active rappers, for instance. So, living spirits come from Kendrick the man, aka his influences, and unalive spirits are being mimicked by the devil. Remember, the devil is convincing Kendrick, so he's shape-shifting into people of Kendrick's past to motivate him to handle things his way. The last thing to note is that these spirits are all battling each other to be represented in Kendrick's style. And one way that's represented in the album is by Kendrick interpolating the style of different rappers that he considers influences on himself. For example, right here he goes into a Lil Wayne flow.
Used to bump the Carter 3, I held my rolly chain proud. Irony, I think my hard work let Lil Wayne down.
This isn't meant to be a diss, it's a shout out. It's the same reason Tupac got an entire song in his image in Reincarnated, and the same reason Biggie is quoted directly on TV Off. It's almost like the album itself is possessed.
Whatever though, call me crazy, everybody questionable. Turn me to an Eskimo, I drew the line in decimals.
This line is a perfect example of when we say he's telling multiple narratives at once. On the surface, this is Kendrick questioning everyone after the Super Bowl announcement, mainly the hip-hop community. The F line is also interesting. If you remember, after the album dropped, Kendrick got a lot of flack for this line. People asking, why would Kendrick use a slur? But that's actually the point. This is the devil saying that God turned his name, Lucifer, into a slur. Satan. When he was kicked from heaven, the devil was stripped of his name, Lucifer, and was forced to take the name Satan. So here he's saying he finally connected the dots. Somebody must have wanted him out of the way.
Snoop posted tailor-made, I prayed it was the edibles. I couldn't believe it, it was only right for me to let it go.
So, obvious mention of Snoop reposting Drake's tailor-made freestyle record during the beef. He also mentions Let It Go from Disney's Frozen to make a visual reference back to the Eskimo line.
On the Super Bowl and I'm the only one congratulate me. All these niggas agitated, I'm just glad they shown their faces, quite frankly. Plenty artists, but they outdated. Old ass flows trying to convince me that you they favorite.
Most people have been misinterpreting this part as a diss to older rappers, or even, quote, Generation X. But I don't think that's the case at all. These bars are actually explaining what's happening with the flow switches and the spirits that I mentioned before. This is actually a good place to introduce you to our next 3 Kendrick Lamar motifs. And that's me, you, and they. You see, me represents Kendrick the man, so you can often hear him using the word me almost like a name in his music. The same goes for you, which represents the devil. Notice it almost looks like horns. And then they, representing the industry, or in general, the powers that be. In fact, they is the antagonist of this whole story. So now let's put that same sentence together with the new context that we have. Old ass flows, aka the spirits, trying to convince me, aka Kendrick, that you, aka the devil, are they, aka the industry's favorite. So the devil is appearing as these spirits to Kendrick to try and convince him to see things his way, to make music in his image, to make more club records, to make more simple songs. Remember, this is the devil, so he's not going to be into the lyrical, introspective hip hop. This is Kendrick very much getting into his club banger 100 BPM bag. So with that said, that directly leads us to...
This is not for lyricists, I swear it's not the sentiments. Fuck a double entendre, I want y'all to feel this shit.
Here, Kendrick is saying his influences don't only include what we would consider, quote, lyricists. He's not going to be reflecting these influences through direct quotes. Instead, he's interpolating their feel, their flow, their lingo, things like that. The spirits that are haunting this album can come out in a lot of different ways. It's not even just the lyrics. For example, look at the title of this song, Whacked Out Murals. That's obviously not how you spell the word whacked, right? In fact, that's a staple of West Coast gang, the Crips, who use a double C instead of a CK in words. It's the same way that the Bloods take C words and make them B words.
Care Bears, Daddy.
We don't use no C words, sweetheart. It's a blood house.
But I hear you. Kendrick has famously grown up around Bloods. So why would he spell it like a Crip? That's not even something he's ever done in his music. But you know who does have songs with the double C? Nipsey Hussle. So, if we think of Nipsey as one of those passed on spirits guiding Kendrick, then it's clear that Kendrick is channeling these rappers not only through words, but through the album itself. It's almost as if the spirits have taken hold of the album. There's actually way more examples of this throughout the album, but we'll explore those as we get to them. Just know that this entire album can almost be described as a tribute or a thank you. Every part of it is paying homage to the top rappers, both past and present.
Put aside, too proud to beg, sorry left eye. If I don't make it in life, motherfucker, I tried. What? You ever feel like nobody never understands you but you? Not your mama, your papa, only person is you. Not your brother, your sister, only person is you. What? Come on. You ever feel like nobody never understands you but you? Nobody but you. So it feels like it's only you. So I'm feeling like I want to.
Oh, so, bitch, I probably built them pyramids.
This is the devil saying that he's been reincarnated so many times that he goes back to the time of the pyramids. This is also a slick reference to an older Kendrick Lamar song called High Power.
Are you motherfuckers waiting? I be off the slave ship, building pyramids, writing my own hieroglyphs.
Ducking strays when I rap battled in the Nickersons.
This line is actually an insane Easter egg or hidden reference. So the Nickersons that he's referring to is the Nickerson Projects in Watts, California. And this is Kendrick Lamar having a rap battle in the Nickerson Projects way back in 2010. The important part though is about 1 minute and 30 seconds into the freestyle, where he does this.
Small shark Johnson's here, jump in the water. Do we really fuck with President Carter? My reply is that I can't stay away from the bosses. Got the bidding war popping like an auction. 5 or 10 labels like what he hitting for, 7 zeros or more. Remember having Aftermath sitting on my door. Money in front of me, I couldn't open the door.
Right after you hear him say President Carter, Kendrick seamlessly goes into a Jay-Z flow. You can see he included that line to reference the flow switches that he's showcasing on this album, emphasizing that this is not something new for him. Crazy reference.
Where you from? Not where I'm from. We all indigenous.
This refers to the Black Hebrew Israelites, some groups of which claim they are related to the indigenous peoples of the North American continent.
Against all lies, I scribbled up for them dividends. Against all lies, I showed up as a gentleman.
Against all odds, obvious reference to the Tupac song of the same name. He's also saying here that he fought for everything that he had and he did it the right way.
I done lost plenty friends, 16 to be specific. Put that on my kids' children. We gon' see the future first. They like die big trip and I just want what I deserve.
So, in the real world context, this is Kendrick acknowledging that he has lost 16 friends already in his lifetime. Now, this future first line. This actually is in reference to a Frank Ocean song from 2015 called Nikes, a song which has similar themes of duality.
We'll let you guys prophesy. We gon' see the future first. Living so the last night feels like a past life. Speaking of the don't know what got into people. Devil be possessing homies. Demons try to body jump. Why you think I'm in this bitch wearing a fucking yarmulke?
What Frank Ocean is also saying in these lines is that they're going to shape the future together. And I think that meaning also carries over to Kendrick's use of the line. Within the narrative, the devil is always hyping up Kendrick, telling him that they're going to shape the future of music.
What bridge they done burned, all of them is over with. I'm doing what COVID did, they'll never get over it.
But this is Kendrick saying that it's too late. He's just gonna burn it all down. He's about to cleanse the game like a pandemic and it will never be the same again. But this is also Kendrick and the devil holding their influences up to scrutiny, deciding which ones he wants to bring into this new world. So that brings us back to the hook, which is pretty much the same lyrics all over again, but you'll notice the delivery is completely different.
Yeah, nigga, if they say it's love, you been lied to. A couple rules of engagement's here to guide you.
Can you hear it? The second hook is actually being rapped as Nipsey Hussle, while the first one,
yeah, nigga, if they say it's love, you been lied to. A couple rules of engagements, I'ma guide you,
was rapped as Ice Cube. But that Nipsey reference goes even deeper. Kendrick depicting Nip motivating him is a direct reference to a line from back in 2010. The song, The Heart Part 1.
Tadpole, assholes trying to kill my dreams, not elevate. Those are not my dreams. I be straight with a little bit of passion and a drive like an Aston. Motivation from Nipsey or glasses. J-Rock, Mike Stroh, bad luck, you and I. Dom Kennedy, merge the face shine. Lady G, will he be in time? I'ma blow like a motherfucker sniffing lines. Cold like I never seen a red light shine. Flow to my heart, hit the flow when I'm down. Heart of a line, tell him get in line.
So I do want to bring to your attention that line where he mentioned he has a, quote, drive like an Aston, basically comparing himself to a car like a GNX. You see, going back to the Sigmund Freud reference, Kendrick's psyche isn't quite the angel and devil on the shoulder. In Kendrick's version, he himself is the car. He's the one with the drive. Kendrick the man. So he's the one usually in control. There's a seating arrangement and everything.
It go 1, 2, 3, 2 in the front, 1 in the back seat. Looking for a victim of an AK 4700 round each.
So you have Kendrick the man in the driver's seat. To the right of him is an empty seat reserved for God. That's in reference to the saying, Jesus take the wheel. And in the back seat, specifically on the left, is the devil. That way he can get in Kendrick's ear while he's driving. However, there are times where Kendrick, the man, goes to sleep or meditates. And that's when the devil takes control. that's when we get his more braggadocious mainstream rhymes.
Rapping Gregory, tapping, people singing, bells is ringing, children playing, angels praying, 14 karat golden streets, collard greens, red wine, potato yam, turkey legs, culinary king speaks.
Niggas from my city couldn't entertain no boy. Promising bank transactions and even Bitcoin.
On the surface, this line points to the beef, the rumor that Drake paid for dirt on Kendrick. However, this entire 4 bars are a crazy triple entendre. Within the narrative, this can be heard from the devil's perspective 2 different ways. Ends from his city can be referring to heaven or hell, as in the devil and his fallen angels, or his current life as Kendrick in Compton. So this is the devil saying that his people don't agree with God's methods. The devil also interprets God's blessings to be things of material nature, like money, as in Bitcoin.
I never piece it up, that shit don't sit well with me. Before I take a truce, I'll take them to hell with me.
But it's these next 2 lines where he does something extremely interesting, where what we audibly hear him say and what's listed in the lyrics actually differ. This is another type of homophone. So verbally, he's pretty clearly saying, I'll never piece it up, as in, I will never make peace. But in the official lyrics, the bar actually goes, I never pieced it up, as in Kendrick, or the devil in this case, never got the chance to make peace before losing contact with God. And then, of course, we have the last line with the obvious devil reference saying, I'll take him to hell with me.
The ground on top of the asphalt. Tire mark gave you evidence that I'm easily pedaling with the speed of a lightning bolt. As a kid, I killed 2 adults. I'm too advanced. I lived my 20s at 2 years old. The wiser man. Truth be told, I'm like 87. Wicked as 80 reverends in a pool of fire with devils holding hands. From a distance, don't know which one is a Christian. Damn, who can I trust in 2012? There's no one, not even myself. A Gemini screaming for help. Somebody, hold up, hold up.
If that money got in the hands of a crash dummy, could jeopardize my family and burden the ones who love me. Niggas mad cause I decided not to pretend. Y'all stay politically correct, I'ma do what I did.
So again, surface level, this line is about Drake putting money in the streets. But within the narrative, this actually refers to Kendrick himself. The line is saying if Kendrick allows himself to fall off, or for someone else to take that top spot, then his bodily self will be in jeopardy. We also have another homophone here with him saying he, quote, decided not to pretend, as in D-sided. Like he sided with the devil and is leaning more into that side of his music, the more braggadocious side of his music.
Ain't no sympathy here, this shit's hilarious. It's a lot of opinions, but no power to carry it. 2025, they still moving on some scary shit. Tell them quit their job and pay the real niggas they severance.
So this line, as expected, can be heard multiple ways. One is we hear the devil referring to his rebellion, telling all his real ends to quit their job and get their severance, aka get what they deserve. But what we also hear is the devil complaining that everyone seems to have gotten their sins forgiven except for him. There's no sympathy for the devil, and all he can do is laugh at this point. This also refers to the spirits inside Kendrick, his own influences. Remember, they're all battling for influence, but no single influence can take over 100%. This is also the devil saying that it's 2025 and God is still scared of him. Remember, this story is from the devil's perspective, and the version he's telling Kendrick is that he was kicked out of heaven because God was intimidated by his greatness.
Tell them quit their job and pay the real niggas they severance. Don't insult my intelligence, I'm not just for the television.
Alright, this is another dope reference. Kendrick rhymes the word severance with television. Rappers sometimes do this to relate 2 words together conceptually. So he's making reference to the Apple TV show Severance. a show about the splitting of one's consciousness, the same way Kendrick's consciousness is split on this album. The reference takes on even more meaning when you consider the show features a self-help author character named Rickon Hale. Rickon is directly inspired by real-life author Eckhart Tolle, who again was featured heavily on Kendrick's last album, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. So this is very possibly Kendrick giving Ben Stiller a shout-out. Stiller, an executive producer on Severance, praised Kendrick on Twitter for his Super Bowl announcement. So this is Kendrick's shout-out back to him.
Teleport the bullets roll and dig up all my relatives.
He follows that up by saying he's going to, quote, teleport down to Bullis Road. This is in reference to Angelus Abbey Memorial Park, a cemetery in Compton, California. He doesn't just mean blood relatives though. He's referring to the entire cemetery. This is in reference to Kendrick considering himself a spirit medium. He often flashes the phrases I am or all of us in his visuals, indicating that we're all connected as God's creatures, hence relatives. Also remember, the devil has a direct connection to the afterlife, so you often see him leveraging that when he's trying to convince Kendrick of something. Remember, Kendrick the man is rife with grief, so the devil's trying to take advantage of that. So both Kendrick and the devil have to be very careful which influences they allow in.
Mama, take this motherfucking block off. Tryna reach you every day, collect costs. Never get through when I go through withdrawals. Say who told you that I wanted this? No, too slim shut, I just wanted to vent. Or ask you if you can give me your rent for a attorney, I can pay you back more. Soon as I get out, yeah, every record shows. Commissary running low, I need help. Not too much, I hustle up the rest myself. K-Dot Roby saying,
okay, nigga, let's settle it. These niggas been fake loyal. Since y'all pandering to choose a side, let me do it for you.
So, surface level, this is Kendrick calling out the rap game after seeing public figures switching sides or staying on the fence during the beef. But within the narrative, this is also Kendrick and the devil continuing to hold their influences up to scrutiny. This continues in the next couple of lines also.
Okay, fuck your hip-hop. I watch the party just die.
And yup, that's a direct reference to the technically untitled song Watch the Party Die. Now, if you're unfamiliar or just don't remember this track, Kendrick released this song exclusively on his Instagram in October 2024. So this came out after Not Like Us, but over a month before the surprise drop of GNX. The song almost plays the role of the heart in the past. It sets the table and gives hints to the theme of the upcoming album. Narratively, this mention of Watch the Party Die lets you know that the events of that song are relevant to this one. Remember that, because that's another major sign that you're in a concept album.
Niggas cackling about all of y'all is on trial.
This second line seems to be a reference to Diddy. This was assumed because of the censored name and the timing of the release it came out, back at the peak of the Diddy controversy. However, I think that blanked line here is actually Satan. The devil in this story not only despises that name, but the stigma around it. So just like the Eskimo line, he treats it as a slur and censors it out completely.
Niggas thought that I was antisocial when I stayed inside of my house.
The devil in Kendrick's story is said to be antisocial, probably in reference to that he's literally in prison. So when you hear Kendrick rapping like he's in a beautiful villa or beach house, he's likely channeling the devil's confinement. Remember, this is the devil, so if Earth is going to be his prison, he's going to go to the nicest places on Earth. And he's going to tell you about it.
You better off to having one woman, everything tricky right now.
Earlier in the video, I noted that when Kendrick does interpolations, he rarely hints at who he's borrowing them from. Well, this is one of those few hints. He mentions here that you're better off, quote, with one woman right now. And in the bars right after, he instantly dives into a Megan Thee Stallion flow. Listen.
Empathetic to the other side, I vow. A bitch nigga love bitch niggas, they exist with them in style. Exterminate them right now, make Cat Williams and them proud. The truth about to get loud.
And for comparison,
But pretty please, I want you to come say something to me. I really been itching to go the fuck off. Hop with this Giuseppe Hill in your mouth.
Now, as far as the lyrics themselves, narratively, this is the devil expelling the spirits that don't see things his way. I think this is also Kendrick referencing his track, Reincarnated. He says, the truth about to get loud. That means he's ready to share his story without a filter. In fact, if you go back to earlier Kendrick references, the way that the story loosely goes is that Kendrick and the devil make a pact. Kendrick the man promises to not give out the devil's secrets, and the devil helps Kendrick reach superstardom. They consider it a mutually beneficial relationship because it takes them both closer to God, which is where they want to be, just for different reasons.
So nephew weeping because you shook as soon as you knew confinement was needed. I know your secrets, don't let me tell them to the world about that shit you thinking. And that time that you out the Earl, I'm fucked up, but I ain't as fucked up as you. You just can't get right, I think your heart made it bulletproof. Should've killed your ass long time ago. You should've filled that black revolver blast long time ago. And if this marriage can talk it and say you gotta go. And if I told your secrets, the world of no money can't stop us. Suicidal weakness.
No juices out of my cup, I sober up and knock them all off. Don't let no white comedian talk about no black woman as law.
So right off the bat, we have a mention of the movie Juice, wrapped in a line that also is a play on Kendrick's sobriety. And if you didn't notice, we just had another flow switch, this time to that of legendary rapper Tech 9.
Like I'm trying to be the best up in this hip hop and do a track with the king of Atlanta tip top. Then turn around and go switch it up and do big rock.
I know probably gonna work for them and fuck whoever that's close to them. The niggas that coon, the niggas that being groomed, slide on both of them.
That reference makes sense to anyone that's familiar with Kendrick's early career. You see, in 2010, Tech brought both J-Rock and Kendrick with him on his Independent Grind tour. He credits Tech 9 in that tour with helping connect him with Dr. Dre.
Thank you, Tech 9.
Thank you, Tech 9. You ever eat Captain Crunch and proceeded to pour water in it, pulled over by the law. You run dirty so you can't argue with them.
In these lines, we also have references to Friday, The Wood, and the classic UGK album, Riding Dirty. Remember, this track serves as the liner notes, so you're going to get a lot of references to works that Kendrick considers influences on himself and this album.
To make it to be a star, bear your soul and put your heart up in it. Well, I did.
So as we close out the track, I want to point out one last homophone. This is the devil asking Kendrick if he's ever had to, quote, bare his soul and put his heart up in it. Here, the word bare, B-A-R-E, is being used two ways at once. This can be read as put everything out there, or it can be read as bare as in blank. So in that context, it reads almost like, have you ever had to start from scratch? Have you ever had to blank everything out? That's in reference to 2009 when Kendrick dropped his stage name, K-Dot, in favor of his real name, Kendrick Lamar. From his subject matter to his sound, he was almost an entirely new artist at that point. The very style that set him on a path to be the Super Bowl headliner that we know today. So finally, the powerful closing line.
Well, I did whack the murals out, but it ain't no legends if my legend in.
Kendrick, as discussed, carries the essence of his fallen friends and influences in his heart. He sees himself as the only one left telling these stories and continuing their message. Narratively though, this line applies to all three narratives at the same time, bringing them all together. In this line, Kendrick / the devil is saying that you can try and dump on his legacy, but he's the only one carrying it at the end of the day. This line also marks the devil being in control for the rest of the album. The devil's no longer in the back seat, he's behind the wheel. Which makes sense. This is the 6th album, The Devil's Album. Thanks for watching.